Thanks for tuning in to You Are the Magic Pill. Do you often wish that you could just pop a magic pill that would change your life instantly, giving you everything that your heart desires? The truth is, you don't need one, because get this, you are the magic pill. I'm your host, Victoria, and during this podcast, I will be giving you a dose of my truth by keeping it real with inspiring stories and wisdom. My mission is to show you how to fall in love with yourself so that you can discover your own truth. If you are ready to realize that you are the magic pill, then come on a heroic journey with me to remember who you truly are, to activate that power found within. Hi, and welcome back to You Are the Magic Pill. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. We are going to be continuing part 2 with my special guest, Billy Carson. Last week, we spoke about Billy's childhood, his channel Forbidden Knowledge, about reality, Akashic Records, chaos, and trauma. I'm glad you're here with us this week as we dive a little deeper into life's truths. We start this interview where we left off last week. And here we go. I had this come to me where it says that we're operating on our 5 senses, and that we lose that innocence. And so it came to me about faith like a child was that inner sense is innocence, that we lose that. And if we can, like you said, clean up the outer and we can start to relearn, unlearn, some of the lies that we were taught, and then go within and do that work on the inner space to change even more of the outer space, I think would make our world a lot more of a beautiful place, which is what I was going to ask you about too, is the importance of all of us doing this work based on the research that you've done. What's the importance of this for humanity?
Oh yeah, it's super important because, kind of what you were just alluding to, when you're born, you're given a name, a race, and religion. And then you spend the rest of your life defending a false identity. And we'll defend that to the death, to the end.
Right.
And we have to unlearn all of that mess. And we have to really relearn and find out, first of all, who we truly, really are. It's not what they've given you and told you who you are. It's who you discover that you are. And it's important for us to do the research, for us to take our own individual trip, our own journey to inner space. And that's going to come through research, investigation, study. And everybody's got special gifts and talents and even passions in this journey that others don't have. Yours may be more spiritual and esoteric. Mine may be slightly more scientific. Somebody else may be more into metaphysics. It's various different things, but we all have a piece that we bring to the table to create this gigantic puzzle and put the puzzle together. And so that's why we're supposed to be able to break bread with one another, and we're supposed to be able to talk and speak with one another. And this whole divide and conquer that they've put in place on every level of every system is set up to really keep us from realizing that we are all pieces of each other's puzzle. And once we figure that out and we come together, but it only starts first with what? Researching, understanding, waking up and realizing that there is only one consciousness. Like Dr. Stephen Greer says, what is the color of consciousness? Okay, there is no color of consciousness. It doesn't exist. You can't even put a color on it. And God is a frequency we all have to tune into. So once we come to that understanding and that awakening, then we come together, then we work together, then we build great civilizations, and we travel the stars, and we build a golden age and all these things. But the fundamental, to get the foundation right, the fundamental basis is really looking inside, researching, getting self-help books, finding out more about yourself. What makes you tick? What are your triggers? How to start addressing those triggers? How to become a better person? How to eliminate road rage? How to eliminate beating your children? All these things need to be eliminated and reduced in our lives so that we can become better people and then elevate as humanity.
I 100% agree. And I'm so glad that I was able to finally wake up and to see what you're seeing now, and to help spread this too, because a lot of people, I think I heard you talk about this on another episode, but, a lot of people do seek the outer stuff like alcohol and drugs and, just addictions to keep us, it's just all a distraction. And then the division, it's all a distraction to keep looking out and to not spending that time to go within, because we're just programmed that way. But then once we can actually stop for a second and then redirect it, then that's when the true magic will happen for all of us. And I think that that's why it's so important. So I like what you're saying, because collectively we have to come together and we have to alert one another, you know, that this is what can happen. Like we can actually have a beautiful place.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission is to bring heaven to earth. That is the true mission. And once everyone realizes that, this whole world's going to change.
Isn't that awesome to think about, like how cool that will actually be?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you've been thinking about that since you were like...
kid. I was thinking about it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I told my mom when I was a kid, we need to do away with politics. You know, I said, how long are the adults going to fall for this trick? And she says, what are you talking about? I said, our neighborhood hasn't gotten any better. I was seeing Jimmy, what was the guy's name? It was before Reagan. It was Jimmy, I guess his name was, the president at that time. And then we had Reagan. It was just every time I stepped up, I saw that we stepped up to another president. I just didn't see a lot of real change. I realized that the change was going to come from the people, not the politicians. We're the ones who are going to make the change. And if we keep relinquishing away our powers to other sources of people, that small group that makes decisions for us, we're never going to see the real change that we want. We have to literally become the actual change ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it just made me think about I always compare it to working out. I mean, to have the outer change, you have to put in the daily work on yourself and your diet, what you eat, and you have to work out to see the changes. And so it's the same thing within for us to come together to do it. There's a quote, and I forgot who, it's a Rumi one, I think. I posted it one day. It said something like, one day I was wise and wanted to change the world, and the next day I wanted to realize I need to change myself. You probably heard of that one.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like such the truth. And so which leads me to the, like, how you have to become your own savior. You talk about that. So,
right. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things, you know, when I was a kid living in Opelika down in Miami, Florida, we were so poor. And, you know, we were eating Cairo syrup and toast. We were eating matzo crackers with butter. Wow. Those were our meals, you know, powdered eggs, powdered milk. I would just put water in my cereal, government cheese. And then the ice cream truck would come every single day. Every day the ice cream truck. And my friends and my neighbors, who are just as poor as us, we're in the same neighborhood. We're next door neighbors. They're going to the ice cream truck every day. And I'm like, wait a second. How can they go to the ice cream truck? And we can't even afford one stick of gum, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I was like, how much more poor are we than them? I mean, it's like, what in the world is going on? And so one day I said, forget this. I just wanted the bazooka bubble gum, you know, that had the comic strip inside. So I said, okay, I'm going to sell my toys. So that's why I sold my toys. I went to go I took all my toys and put them inside of a milk crate. I went door to door, you know, ma'am, sir, I'm just trying to sell my toys. I just need to have a couple dollars. You can give me any donation, a penny, a nickel, a dollar, a dime, whatever. I sold my toys. I made myself some money. I took a picture of in my hands. My dad took a Polaroid picture of me actually holding my hands out with the money in my hands. And that's like a legendary photo for me, because it showed me at that moment, I had an epiphany at that age. I had an epiphany at age 7 that said, wow, there's nobody coming to save me. I'm going to have to save myself. That was my exact thought. And I realized from that moment forward that anything that I wanted to do, anything I needed to achieve, it was going to take action and energy on my part. I was going to be the one to put the energy exchange into the system to get the result that I wanted. And if I didn't do that, I would be stuck in the system or the place wherever I was, and I couldn't afford to complain about it because I left myself there. And so I stopped, by then I had read the Bible well over 200 or 300 times, because my dad would make me do book reports on it. So,
I heard you say that one time that you read the Bible that many times. That's really impressive. Like, wow.
Yeah, gone through it. So, I mean, he used to take me to bars and put me up on the bar stops in New York City and have me quoting scriptures from the Bible and doing the Lord's Prayer, which is really the prayer of Ptah, from the Egyptian text, long before the Bible was even written. The Lord is my shepherd. No, that's 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, shall I want. But our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That is the prayer of Ptah. Enki is Ptah. He taught that to his followers back in ancient land of Kem, before it was called Egypt. But he would have me quoting all these scriptures and all this stuff. And I had gone through so, but the benefit I had to that is not only had I gone through it, but I was able to recognize all the inconsistencies where we're talking about a lot of great things that can give a person peace and understanding and knowledge and ascension, wisdom. But at the same time, there was some contradictory stuff that was showing dark sides of this entity. And I realized that there was a little contradiction there. And for me, I started seeing like this wasn't the same author. Now, yes, the Bible was supposedly written by different people in different books, but I really wanted to find out, was this written in real time or was this put together much later? I found out much later that it was written between 100 AD to 900 AD. And it was written by the Phoenicians, followers of Hermes, Thoth. And they were just collecting whatever tidbits of scriptures and cylinder scrolls and papyruses that they came across. They were collectively putting the stuff together into this book. Much later, the Council of Nicea came across it, and then they orchestrated it into this, what they call a canonized Bible, where they took things out and removed things and changed words and phrases around by accident, on purpose, mistranslated some words that were very important, by the way. Yeah. And kind of cultivated it into their own control system book, where if you have true discernment, you can still read that book and get a lot of wisdom. But if you're not able to really discern a lot of the information and understand what's to be separated from what, then it can lure you in and you can get caught up in the whole thing and not ever really realize that some of the deception is there, but a lot of stuff in there is actually good. There's good and bad in everything because it's written by men. Right. And whatever man touches is corrupted. So there's going to be good and bad in everything. Yin and yang permeate the entire universe. What it takes is an ascended master to discern the difference between what's real and what's not, or what's been added, what's been manipulated. But that also takes some research as well, a research that a lot of people just don't have time to do. But I realized early on that the savior aspect of it was always talking about us, we ourselves, being the ones to save ourselves. It had nothing to do with anybody external coming down with any magic wand to come and whisk us away. Matter of fact, the rapture doctrine was added to the Bible in 1835 by William James Darby as a cliff note, then later added into canonized text as some pastors realized they can utilize it. Even hell was added by the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, as another form of fear factor to control, to generate and raise money so people can pay to get out of their sins. And so as I began to learn all of this, I realized, wow, the message is there, but at the same time, we have to understand the esoteric wisdom and the allegory behind a lot of the message. And it's really about you becoming an ascended master, you ascending, you becoming the one that saves yourself. And not only save yourself, but then turn back to save others, spreading the light and then helping to make people realize we are already in heaven. This is actually heaven. This is the place where heaven begins for us as a proving ground. If we can convert this into a heaven, then we can ascend to higher dimensions.
Yeah, I love that. It's so beautiful. It made me think of a couple of things. I'm trying to remember what that was. Basically that what you're saying, when people have been so programmed, it's going to be like, what is he saying? Like, that is not truth. So, because I know that I went, like I said, I went to seminary first semester. And then when I went there, ironically, like I learned parallels to the Bible at seminary. And I was like, what? It was kind of like a jolt. Again, I was like, wait, if Jesus is the only way, then why are these stories so similar? I'm like, that just didn't sit right with me. And I just fell out of everything. Like I just stopped everything. Right. But like a lot of people might think that if they're even listening to you, that they're going to go to hell. Right. Because it's like, they've been so programmed.
They're pumped with fear. They're programmed and pumped with absolute fear. Just even hearing about meditation or anything like that, they feel, I'm going to go to hell. And so a lot of what happens is the biggest reason why people are religious is for self-preservation. They don't really, it's hard for them to admit this. They're not really in love with the deity that they think they're in love with. They're afraid to go to hell. And so where there's fear, there is no love. Right. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Because we are totally conditioned to live out of fear and to have that, I'm breaking free from that. Like that's one of my biggest missions right now is to break free from that freaking fear. You know, it's so annoying and it's so like debilitating and paralyzing. And it's like, no, that is not who I am. And so I'm just trying to learn to redirect myself and to step into that power and to teach other people to do it. And I think that that's why I have a lot of like lately, like some depression and suffering issues. But I think that I just
that's part of my mission, is to overcome that, to help
Yeah.
people realize that, no, you don't have to stay there. Like, we can take
Yeah.
that power back and step into it
Right.
and redirect and unlearn and do all these things. And like, the things that you're talking about are scary to some people. And I understand that, because I was there too.
Yeah.
When I started first looking at this stuff, I was definitely thinking I was going to hell. Like,
Yeah.
like, for sure. I was like,
Yeah.
is somebody watching me? Like, I'm going to go to hell. Yeah. It freaks me out. And so,
Yeah.
and I questioned it, but then I
Mhm.
pushed through it. And I kept looking. I kept
Yeah.
going with my intuition. I kept
Uh-huh.
being guided.
Yeah.
And I finally broke through the fear and realized that it's not true.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful testimony in itself right there, you know? And the tribulations that you may be going through or have gone through, that's all set for you to become a better teacher. I've been through everything you could think of, you know, from being piss poor broke, having holes in my shoes and rips in my pants because my pants were 2 sizes too small, so my crotch would rip open, you know, and I was growing like a weed, you know, living on the street, being homeless for a small period of time. You know, I remember I had to put a $350 car on layaway one time.
Wow.
You know, so from anything on wheels in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, you know, so I've been through that. I've been through ups and downs, highs and lows, had a lot of money, lost it all. I've done everything. So all those things are there for us to become better teachers, so we can actually relate to everybody on every single level. There's not one person out here. I could talk to the highest level quantum physicist in the world. I can talk to Michio Kaku and have a conversation with him for hours. And I can go talk to somebody that's living in a low class income neighborhood on Section 8. And I can sit there and have a great conversation with them for many, many hours. I could talk to a homeless person. I can talk to a middle class person, a wealthy person. It doesn't matter who it is. On every level, I can contribute and I can be on their level sincerely, not fake, but sincerely, because I've experienced everything from depression to highs to lows, being married, being divorced, you know, having kids. I've done it all. So it's all for you to learn and grow and be ready to be able to help save other people through dropping the wisdom and knowledge you have, so they can go, oh, wow. Then they have the epiphanies, and then they start doing their thing on the inside, and they just keep spreading like a consciousness virus.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so I think that, you know, that's definitely what we're all here to do, is to what is it? Walk the walk, talk the walk, just be a part of it. I didn't say that right, but whatever. Sometimes I don't say the lyrics right of songs or whatever. I make up my own rules, right? And we should make up our own rules.
Right.
But so that kind of leads me, I know we're probably running a little bit out of time, but that leads me to the woke doesn't mean broke, your book here.
Thank you.
Which, how I love that. I haven't gotten all the way through that, but I mean, I love the fact that you are so relatable to everyone, because we're not really diving into it as much here, but I just mostly wanted to bring awareness to who you are for the people that are ready to dive into the quantum physics and all of the higher level wisdom that we're not really talking about exactly here on the show today, but that they can go listen to your podcast and get these books of yours and really, really dive deeply when they're ready to do that, because your wisdom and knowledge is like off the freaking charts. Like I can get it. Like my soul, like, definitely can understand it, or just know that it's truth, but I can't like necessarily like say it back to you. But the reason why you wrote the book Woke Doesn't Mean Broke is why.
Well, I wrote this book because I've been fortunate that as I got older, I began to realize, like I said, I was going to be my own savior. I started running my own businesses at a very young age. I started my first company at the age of 12. By the time I was 13, I was already making more than my parents. By the time I was 16, I moved out. And I just realized, like, you know, this is the path for me. And so I became, had some very successful businesses that put millions of dollars in my pocket. But I'm still teaching, you know, esoteric wisdom and trying to teach people about spirituality and things like this. Is way before social media even existed. And people would be envious of, like, you know, you talking all this stuff, and, you know, but you're already set. You don't have to worry about like things we have to worry about. And, you know, you shouldn't have a nice car. You know, this is back in, like, you know, the 90s, and you shouldn't be driving a Lexus, you know, and all this kind of stuff, and living in these nice places or whatever. And then it just persisted right into social media. You know, I could be sitting in the car. He's just trying to show off that he's got a Mercedes. Well, this is actually my cheapest car that I have. I'm sorry. I don't have a Toyota Camry or Corolla. I don't have a Civic or whatever. This is the car that I'm sitting. You guys are making videos in your cars. I'm just sitting in my car talking. If I'm sitting in my Rolls Royce, and you get comments there, you shouldn't be driving this European car. Well, why not? Well, because it's this, and well, your car's got all the parts made from your car coming from the same places where the parts put in my car coming from.
Right.
I just got a different logo on my car. But I realized then that there was a problem, that people were suffering from something worse. They were suffering from this mindset that if you're going to be a spiritual conscious person, that you need to be walking and suffering in a lack of abundance. And it's actually the opposite. If you have this power, and the power is in you, and you have this spiritual energy, and you have the ability to manifest your reality, if that's what we're running around teaching people, why aren't we living abundant? Why are we scraping and scrapping? Why are we struggling? Why is everything so hard financially? Those two things don't go together. Manifesting your reality and being piss poor broke don't go together. Right. It just doesn't go together. If I'm going to run around telling people all this stuff and I can't pay a light bill, I asked the same guy that I just got done pitching about manifesting to if he can help me with, I need $20 to pay my light bill. These guys going to laugh at me. He's not going to believe anything I've got to say.
Right.
I think the proof is really in the pudding. If you have this power in you, you can do all these things. Well, then show and prove. And so I believe that I deserve to live life now. I'm not going to wait till I die so I can live. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to live right now. And then after I get done with this avatar body, I'm going to go to another dimension and live again. And I'm always going to live the best life in every dimension that I'm at. And so I want to rid this deceitful understanding of finances and spirituality, and get people to understand that money is not the root of all evil. Is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. See, I don't chase money. I chase my passions. And because I chase my passions, abundance is the side effect. And I want people to understand that their spirituality and being manifesting your financial abundance goes hand in hand, and that anyone can do it. Whatever abundance is for you, different levels of abundance are for everyone. Everybody's got a different meaning of abundance in their brain. Some people it's having billions of dollars, but those people do a lot in the world. And for some people, it's just having all their bills paid without having to stress and worry. It's about relieving the stress. And finances, for me, it's not about chasing money. It's about buying my freedom. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Yes, I work hard, but this weekend coming up, I just got back from filming, working in Greece. I've worked all week long, 10-hour days. By the time Friday gets here, I'm going to hop on a plane. I made a decision. I'm going to go to the Bahamas for 3 days just because I need a detox for I need some vitamin C, SEA, And so, but you can't do that if you don't have abundance. And so I just think that I need to teach people financial literacy, which have not been taught, at least in my generations, and my people have not been taught properly. And then also combining that with spiritual practices so that you can understand how to financially break this matrix and live your best life. And so that's why I wrote the book.
That is so beautiful. And I love that, because we definitely need to promote this book, and I need to read it like backwards and forwards. I need to read it 100 times like you did the Bible, but it's definitely something that does need to be taught, because so many people suffer from finances. And like you said, when they do become awakened, or they're maybe they are like a Christian or whatever religion they are, then they feel like they aren't supposed to have abundance as far as money. And that is not proper truth. And I do agree with you. So I'm glad that you are empowering people with such wisdom and breaking it down. I was able to look at a lot of it, but it's got a lot of information in there and great tips. And great tips and action steps for people to do to reclaim their power. And, a lot of people in this world are suffering from financial situations because we were not taught, just like a lot of other things we weren't taught, obviously, that we're discovering. And I think that it is necessary for us to have that freedom, and you have to be retaught that stuff, or just taught it in general, that you can take control of your finances and follow the steps that you're saying. And I think I'm just very thankful that you wrote that book. So thank you for following your intuition and your guidance to do that, because the freaking world needs it. Yeah, we need it. We need it. And I think now people are calling it the financial Bible on the streets. Nice. Yeah. And it's a bestseller. So both of my books are bestsellers now. Yeah, I'm excited about that for you. And, and like you said, following like your passion, following your bliss is giving you that financial freedom, but it's also helping you help humanity. And that's what you came here to do. And you're living your mission, you're living your passion. And that's the whole point of us all being here, is to go within, to find that what is internal, not what the world, like you said earlier, not what you've been taught, not what you think your identity is, but to really discover that true identity and to figure out who you really are, and to fulfill your purpose here and your mission that you came here to do. And I just love that so much.
Thank you. Yep. I appreciate it. Thanks for the time on this podcast. I really had a great time on here. We definitely got to do this one more time.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much more to talk about. So I want you to share with everyone, because that was my main point. I really felt, like I said, guided to you. I felt like we probably have known each other in other lifetimes, because there was just so much like power in your message to me. It just was like, I needed to hear it at the right time. So I know that there's somebody else that's needing to find you too. And I'm going to be that person that helps them. I'm the inspirer, the person that just kind of ignites people to go within. And so please share with them all the places that they can find you.
Definitely. Well, you can go to forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4 BIDDEN, Forbidden Knowledge, and also forbiddenknowledge.tv. I do have my own TV network with over 5,000 shows, streaming network. It's on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, the iOS and Android apps, and also the web. And I do have the Forbidden Knowledge podcast as well on every podcast platform. You can check that out as well. Thank you.
I love your podcast, by the way. I've been listening to it a lot, and it's really, really good. So I highly encourage anyone listening that is ready to jump into discovering the power within yourself to go check out Billy Carson without one doubt. Don't even wait a second. Go jump on and find him on all the places he listed. So thank you again, Billy Carson, for being on here with me. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate it so much. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks. Well, thank you.
All right.
That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I got to get on this next call now, but look, we'll definitely do another one soon.
Okay. Thanks. All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a good day. All right.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today on You Are the Magic Pill. My hope is that you leave this podcast feeling better about yourself, inspired, activated, and ready to swallow your fears to realize your dreams. I would be honored if you would leave me a 5-star review over in iTunes. Each week I'll randomly choose one person to win some You Are the Magic Pill swag. Make sure you add your name to the review and I'll reach out to you if you're the winner. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today. Be sure to pop over to youarethemagicpill.com for past episodes and more gifts to help you wake up and realize that you are the magic pill and you can change it all to have it all.